Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Potsmoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Potsmoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament, of the Jewish Bible, or Tanakh. I use the Christian King James Version of the Bible to put together the prophecy of Israel from the scattered testimony of the Old Testament prophets. And I did so because I was raised Christian, and it was the book I was familiar with. I also found out later on that I was actually related to King James, so it's the family's version. Anyway, I'm going to take up where I left off last time, reading to you from the 26th chapter of the Potsmoker's Bible, which contains the 23rd chapter of the Book of Zion. It's called Behold My Servant, or the Book of Messiah. And it goes like this. And it was at this point in my life that Kenny was abducted and forced to deal with me. He had made this problem, not on purpose, but still, I was bound to him, not only by my dream, but also by his own words on that night of our merge. You see, he branded me that night. I have an abdominal scar from when Rihanna was removed. That scar was just healing when we dated. That scar became his brand on me. He told me, as long as you bear this scar, you belong to me. Thanks a lot, Kenny, for sealing my fate with your words. I know that he spoke those words in passion, that he probably forgot he ever made that claim. But I remembered. I branded my soul with those words. It was those words that forced me to beg for death. His first lesson should have been to never speak in passion and forget. So, in the heat of passion, he spoke words that bound us together in our merged state. Then he went back to his life without me. We had almost gotten back together when I was turning 18, but my mother convinced me that if Kenny truly cared about me, he would come to Louisiana to get me. I told him in a letter that I wanted him to come to get me, that Mom insisted on it. He wanted me to take a bus. He didn't come. He rejected me. He broke my heart and sentenced me to a fate far, far worse than death. He married the one single woman on this planet that the Bible, my go-to book of God, did not condone, allow, or consider to be valid in any way, shape, or form, unless Larry had died without a male heir. So his act of careless rejection was a death sentence for me. My soul failed in 1979, and again in 1988. When Kenny's soul fails, then things will begin to change. I can already feel those changes coming. I know that his soul has failed at least twice. He had cancer twice. So at least 2 times he reached that point of breaking, and his body failed. I wait for the time that he breaks down and returns to me in love and mercy, as foretold by Isaiah in chapter 54. So both of our souls have failed, as foretold. For the past 30 years, Kenny and I have been contending. We have been fighting out our differences. He has been angry with me since the very beginning. He was perfectly happy when he was abducted. He thought he had it all: a good job, a loving wife, children he adored, friends he enjoyed. He had a great life, as far as he saw it. I ruined his perfect life. But I had always been praying for his perfect life. He rejected me, but I loved him so much. I wished him every joy in life that I could not give him. I felt since 1979 that I wasn't worthy of him. I couldn't be his perfect wife. I was a whore. I couldn't even trust myself. How could he trust me? I couldn't give him children or sex that wasn't haunted by rape. I prayed for him to have the life that I felt I could never give him. I hope that someday he will forgive me for not killing myself. I could not live to be free of my love for him, a love inspired by the Bible and by actual physical events in my life. I would have to die. I belonged to him, by my own choice. I was his property by choice, by faith, by my own need. So the only way to free myself from him would have been by death. Someday perhaps he'll come to understand that and forgive me for living. So, this brings us to Isaiah 57:17. For the iniquity of his covetousness was I wroth, and I smote him. I hid me, and was wroth, and he went on forwardly in the ways of his heart. This verse tells us that Kenny wasn't a perfect man. He missed out on God. He was envious of someone or thing. Perhaps his brother's happy home life made him a bit jealous. I don't know. I don't know. He says that that is the case. He wanted a happy family, but I doubt that he really wanted Larry's family. But that was what he got. Perhaps that was his failing. He took his covetous desire and didn't bother to think about the morality of it. Or maybe he just lived in the moment. Because to covet something is to want it to be on godliness. It's a forbidden desire, a desire that isn't quite right. It's not a desire that can't be lawfully or morally acted upon. So Kenny's marriage fits the bill here. He wanted what he thought his brother had. He was given the opportunity to possess it, and he gave in to that forbidden desire. He coveted his brother's wife, so he took her from him when he had the opportunity. She, his brother's wife, Judy, was a moral test that Kenny failed. We are given these tests. Anytime life offers you what you desire, you need to think it through. Because, like Kenny, you may be in a testing phase of your evolutionary path. Whenever we have to make a moral call, we are being asked by life, are you good? When life asked Kenny, are you good? Or do you want her? Kenny chose to not be good. In the game of life, we are all on a path of ascension. Life is about evolution. Every life is trying to grow, to survive, to pass on the knowledge gained. But this is a spiritual ascent, not a physical one. In this larger scale of life, each lifetime is like a grade in school. Each grade level has tests that must be passed in order for the soul to advance. Fail a test and you retake the lesson. Fail the grade and you die. It is better to die when you have failed so badly that to continue on would only cause you to fail more than to die or than to live on in a life that has failed to teach the right lessons. We save lives, but by doing so, we damn the soul that has failed. The longer you commit a sin or believe a false thing, the worse the cost to your soul. It's better for the body to die than for the soul to descend in its next lifetime. Each moral test we take in physical life determines the course of the next evolution of the soul, its next life. If we fail, we go back to fix our mistakes. So every moral decision that we make in life is a life test that will determine where your soul will be in the next incarnation. It will also determine the course of the remaining lifespan of the body inhabited. If the soul can still learn its preset lessons, the events in your life will evolve to teach you the right moral answer, and you will be able to retake and pass the test. I have lived this cycle. My choices in life took on a pattern. The events I faced always led me to the same place. I always had to decide some moral dilemma. Each time I chose the wrong answer, the cycle would reset. But when I found the right moral choice, my life changed. I was given a new question, a new moral issue to resolve. I finally saw the big picture. Life is a lesson. You live a path asked by your moral questions. Your answers determine the course of your life. You evolve by gaining new questions to find the answers to. So, Kenny failed his moral duty test. His life path at that point went south, or in the wrong direction. He wasn't trying to evolve. He didn't see the moral question. He hadn't taken that first step yet, the first step on the path of ascension. So his failure to put his soul in the place of the moral descent, with his amoral life, he was stuck spiritually. 2/3 of the human population are stuck. They have made the wrong moral choice, and they fail to see that it was a test at all. By not recognizing the moral aspect of these life questions, these people have lost their spiritual path. Their moral choices have led them astray. During the normal course of life, we die when we fail. When we fail the lessons that we were born to learn. Each life we live has a preset course. Before we're born, we decide what life lessons we have to learn. Our future life is chosen to provide us with the tests that we need to pass. When we fail too many moral questions, we die. When you relive a similar life that has been tweaked to teach you the right answers, life is a redo. Each life path we choose decides our greater fate. But until you realize that life is a test, you miss the point of the moral issue. So in each lifetime, we stumble towards ascension. We try to learn the right moral answers. It's not until we pass these moral tests that our soul advances. The first thing a soul needs to do in any given lifetime is to recognize the moral test. And there's where we'll take up next time. So, may the Grey watch over you, guide you, protect you, and keep you from all harm. May they teach you right from wrong, and may you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your guild choice when we get to Camp Zion. If you use drugs, stay happy and high. You have every right and reason to believe me. I know I wrote 2 books about it. My name is Zion. I love you too much to say goodbye, so I'm going to say later now.